Hello again, and welcome back to our channel, where we break down big ideas from life-changing books. Have you ever felt like you're just drifting through life? You know, working hard, but not really getting anywhere specific? Or maybe you have goals, but find yourself held back by doubt or fear? Well, you're definitely not alone. Napoleon Hill, in his classic The Law of Success, found that a huge 95% of people he studied were basically considered failures. And not because they lacked ability, but because they lacked one crucial thing: a definite chief aim. So today, we're diving into Lesson 2 and 3 from Volume 1. We're focusing on finding that aim and building the self-confidence you need to actually go after it. If you want more clarity and courage in your life, stick around. Okay, so what's the big deal about having a definite chief aim? Hill compares someone without a clear purpose to a ship without a rudder. It's just burning fuel, maybe going in circles, but never actually reaching a destination. He argues that success isn't accidental. It requires power. And power comes from organized effort, pointed directly towards a specific, well-defined goal. Think about it. Most people vaguely want success or money, right? But Hill says that's just not definite enough. You need to decide exactly what you want and how you plan to get it. He talks about the big difference between Henry Ford, who focused intensely on creating affordable transportation and became incredibly wealthy, and a former co-worker. This guy was equally skilled, apparently, but stayed a low-paid workman his whole life, just because he never defined a larger purpose for himself. Hill found that the 5% who did succeed didn't just have definite goals. They had definite plans. And crucially, they were doing work they genuinely loved. Finding that sweet spot, where what you can do well meets what you actually enjoy, that's key. But how do you make this aim really stick? Well, Hill introduces the principle of autosuggestion. Basically, it's suggesting ideas repeatedly to yourself. He tells readers to write down their definite chief aim, clearly and concisely, and put it somewhere they'll see it every single day. This repetition, he claims, really sinks into the subconscious mind. And then that subconscious mind automatically starts guiding your actions towards achieving that aim. He even shares this fascinating story about a friend who used autosuggestion, imagining nightly meetings with big figures like Lincoln and Emerson to deliberately soak up their best qualities into his own personality. Pretty cool, huh? Hill believed this focused desire acts like a magnet. It attracts the resources, the people, and the opportunities needed for its fulfillment. It kind of aligns with what many people now call the law of attraction. You know? You attract what matches your dominant thoughts. So aim high, Hill urges, because you owe it to yourself, and maybe even the world. Now, having a definite aim is essential, but it's not enough if you're just paralyzed by fear, right? So Hill moves right into Lesson 3, self-confidence. He boldly states that fear is the chief reason for poverty, failure, and misery. But here's the good news. Fear can be mastered. He identifies 6 basic fears that tend to plague humankind. First, the fear of poverty. This is linked to how we compete economically, the way society often worships money, and the social stigma that comes with being poor. Second, the fear of old age. This one's often tied to the fear of poverty again, or declining health, and just uncertainty about what happens later, maybe fueled by old religious ideas. Third, the fear of criticism. Oh, this fear runs deep. It makes us conform, with fashion, cars, opinions. It often stops us from chasing unique ideas or just being our true selves. Fourth, the fear of loss of love, rooted in jealousy and insecurity. Hill calls this one of the most painful fears. It can sometimes lead to serious mental distress. Fifth, the fear of ill health. This connects back to poverty and old age fears, and it gets amplified by how we historically focused more on illness than on wellness. And sixth, the fear of death. Hill considers this the worst fear for many people. It's largely fueled by religious fanaticism and all those conflicting ideas about the afterlife, preying on our lack of definite knowledge about what happens after we die. So where do these fears even come from? Hill points to 2 sources: physical heredity, that's our basic animal instincts, and more importantly, social heredity. This means basically everything we learn from our environment, our family, school, religion, society. He argues that many fears, beliefs, and superstitions are planted in our minds when we're young and impressionable. They often become deeply ingrained, whether they're true or false. He uses this powerful example, watching a mother grouse instantly teach her newly hatched chicks to fear humans, a fear that was learned, not born with. Hill really stresses the importance of keeping an open mind. Like the old farmer who prayed, "Oh God, give me an open mind." He warns against what he calls contempt prior to examination, basically judging things before you investigate. He urges readers to really look into ideas before rejecting them, especially fundamental principles like having a definite chief aim. So this section really lays the groundwork. Define your purpose with burning desire, write it down, use autosuggestion, and start to understand the fears planted by social heredity that might be holding you back. Mastering these is the real start of building true self-confidence. Alright, that's all for today's summary. What's a book that helped you find direction or overcome a fear? Let me know down in the comments. I'm always looking for powerful reads to feature next. If this summary sparked something in you, show some love with a thumbs up and definitely subscribe so you don't miss our next deep dive into success principles. Now, do you want to know the specific steps to turn your burning desire into a concrete, achievable, definite chief aim? Or maybe you're eager to learn Hill's practical techniques for actually eliminating those 6 basic fears we just talked about. Getting clear on your purpose and conquering fear. These are essential steps detailed in the full book. The Law of Success provides not just inspiration, but a systematic, step-by-step method based on the real-world achievements of giants like Carnegie, Ford, and Edison. It's really a course designed to help you analyze yourself, organize your mind, and build lasting power. To start applying these principles in depth, grab your copy of Napoleon Hill's The Law of Success, Volume 1, using the link in the description. Thank you for watching, and keep striving.